Chair recognizes the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Lee, for 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and our witnesses. I also want to thank Chairman Bilirakis and Chairman Guthrie for including two of my bills, the Promoting a Safer Internet for Minors Act, which is co-led by my friend from the great state of Florida, Mr. Soto, and the Children and Teens Online Privacy Protection Act, also known as COPPA 2.0, which I'm proud to co-lead with Mr. Wahlberg of Michigan in today's hearing. So I have dedicated much of my career to protecting the most vulnerable in our society, including children and teens online, and am committed to working with this committee to continue that work. I very much appreciate the discussion today about advancing policies that protect children and also empower parents as they navigate the digital landscape, while also safeguarding our First Amendment rights. Mr. Berkman, specifically, thank you for your work in empowering children and families with the tools they need to navigate social media safely and securely. Digital technologies change so fast that even the most engaged parents struggle to keep up with the latest apps and features. That's why the Promoting a Safe Internet for Minors Act would direct the FTC to launch a nationwide education campaign to help kids and parents learn how to stay safe. Would you share with us why a national education campaign, similar to what the federal government has done for seatbelts and cigarettes, is important, and what type of information or tools you believe would be the most important to include?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question and for your co-sponsorship of that legislation. We support it. We are across the country, as you mentioned, educating students, parents, and administrators at schools on how to keep children safer on social media because of that harm. And so I'll say, first, on the advocacy part of your campaign, it is absolutely critical. I've mentioned this before in the hearing. There is an alarming disconnect in the awareness of how severe and pervasive the harms are. People are concerned and frightened, but they just don't understand how truly bad this is. And so your legislation in that campaign is very sorely needed to bring awareness, and that helps us and other NGOs do our job. In terms of specific education, we need help. Certainly on the ground. We can't cover every single child in every single school, though that is our goal. In terms of talking about best practices, there is a lot of talk out there. It seems accessible when we talk about social media safety. There's a lot of talk out there about social media safety and curriculum that is not necessarily evidence-based. And that leads to time wasting at best, and at worst, counter results or detrimental results to the child. And so we thank you for your legislation. I think it's going to do a lot of good, and I hope it passes.
Thank you. Mr. Likas, thank you for your work as well in protecting the safety of minors online and your perspective on modernizing COPPA for the 21st century. When it was originally enacted, of course, it was well before today's landscape of digital devices and online platforms. One of the principles that you have discussed is the approach to child and teen privacy and restricting advertising to minors. COPPA 2.0 would prohibit targeted advertising to children and teens, but would you explain for us how targeted advertising differs from contextual advertising and the risk that targeted advertising poses to young people?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that question. So targeted advertising involves delivering advertisements that are specific to an individual based on their online behavior and the information that may be collected about them. So think of perhaps creating a profile or a dossier on an individual. A machine would do this and then deliver advertisements that seem suitable according to the automated system to that individual. Ranking Member Pallone, raised some concerns earlier today about the way in which data can be used. Minors' data can be used, and when they turn 18, there's this dossier on them, and that's what we're seeking to prevent. We think that contextual advertising, which is based on things like age-appropriate advertising, where your location is something that is appropriate because it doesn't require collecting individually specific information and creating a repository of very sensitive information.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.